Hello everyone, and I hope you're all doing extremely well. We're looking at the Cold War campaign, day 18. This is the big thumping kind of end boss match for the DCS that we did. And we're going to do a tactical replay for it to see what happens. And we do this so that you guys see what actually happened, because sometimes in the videos it's hard piecing it all together. Sometimes it's slightly out of phase of how it actually happened in the real mission, just because, filming it is a pain in the butt, basically. Sometimes I don't get much choice. So that's it. As you saw, the mission went just so well. It was just peachy. I mean, these big missions are really hard to do. There's one, I guess, like real life missions, there's just 1001 things that can go wrong. Technical problems with the aircraft. You can just, take your eye off the screen for just a second, and to have a sip of your drink or something, and that's the mission over for you. You've crashed, you've lost control, you've hit your wingman, a bogey's jumped you, basically. So they're really hard. They're really, really hard to do, and especially now the rules that we do means we don't have any map. We don't even have a kneeboard to help us. Literally everything has to be done by communications, understanding of the TACAN systems, the INS systems and stuff like that. And so I just take the opportunity to say how absolutely proud I am of my guys to be able to get to the point now where we can do these missions. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we're the best guys in DCS. We're certainly not. We're just not that kind of guy. Most of us are, middle-aged. We're never going to be the top players in DCS. But to work together at this point, at this level of difficulty, is it's a very it's a very great place to be. It's the pinnacle of what we've reached over 3 years of working hard together. We've had our ups and downs, but we finally got there. And this is exactly where we want to be. I don't want to push it any further than this. This is absolutely perfect. So just keep doing what you're doing, everyone. And I think it's perfect, really. Nothing else to say. Right, let's get going. We start here. We're in our usual organisation. We've got several groups. Memory fails me now. It was 2 days ago, so I can't remember the groups. We'll have to just remember them as we go. Regards bad guys, we've got a little helicopter up here. It's Camera. Probably not going to watch him. You probably saw what he did in the video anyway. He did the job basically. But the aeroplanes, we've got a task of defeating some SAMs here. We've got an SA-10 with multiple launchers, different types of launchers and multiple launchers, and 2 times SA-6s. We're going to go and kill that with our seed. Sounds easy, right? Well, it should be. But I made things difficult. I set triggers so that we get jumped. We get jumped by 2 flights of 4 Su-27s here, full weapons, full elite skill. So as hard as we can make the Russian fighters, basically. Coming from here, and the idea of me putting them there is to simulate them coming from mainland Russia. And what they're going to do is put the Caucasus out of bounds for us. Very hard for us to fight over the Caucasus. Very easy for the flankers to fight over the Caucasus in their SAM net. And the flankers are just much more suitable for mounting fighting than F-15s and F-18s, F-14s. And as well as that, from over here, they've got Su-33s that launch from this carrier here, which is kind of danger close to the AO. So hostiles have got all this northern area. So my idea was for us to take off, and we were going to operate around this area here. Now, the idea of that is almost the kind of thing you see in a competitive SATEL match. We put our base of operations here. We've got tankers, so we can operate, pretty much forever. And the guys that can't edit air refuel have got they can go and land. I think Artie went and landed, so that's fine. So we've got a base we can operate from. And the beauty about this is that we can take our time and we can suck these bad guys out over the sea if need be, and keep our strike guys safe. And that was the plan. Now, the other idea would have been to operate in the mountains and attack like a more traditional strike mission, but organisation of that, I think, would have been impossible with hostiles attacking us from multiple areas in a SAM. I think out here was much safer, and as we saw, the tactic worked absolutely perfectly. So let's have a look. We've got I don't know the group name, but we've got the Harrier, Static, Gumbo, and Shifty in there. I wouldn't trust 3 more guys in that Harrier. They all know that Harrier so well. I've got a couple of guys in the Tomcats, Whistler and Raoul, so they are going to be escort for the strike package, and they've learned from their lesson last time when they all got intercepted at close range by Mach 2, and they know now they've got to intercept the guys at long range. It's just part of the learning process for learning the Tomcat. We've got 2 strike flights here. of F-18s. You see, look how everyone flies in perfect formation when their flights without me asking. Everyone just does it now. Just years and years of me going on at them about how I want them in formation. I don't even need to ask them, they just do it now. It's perfect. Anyway, Cap, Atomic, and Onslaught in Flight 1 of F-18 Strike, Saiyan, King Gear, and my apologies, but I got Pograts in Strike Flight 2. Trust all of these guys. They all know what they're doing. They're all better F-18 pilots than me. Certainly, I'm no good. And then the cream of DCS here is the boys. We've got the boys here in F-15s. I don't. Well, yeah. I'm kind of phasing F-15s out a little bit where I can because we're trying to make things hard as we can for ourselves nowadays. Much harder to find F-14 than F-18 than an F-15. But we've put these boys here, and these are the AirTac guys. So, AirTac, if you don't know, is our competition side. They do the competitive PvP side, and they can do that because they're all young single guys. Basically, they have hours that they can put into this, where the rest of us don't. You know, life simply doesn't allow it. And so these guys do the professional PvP. And we had the pleasure of having them in this group, our match as a group, and we knew they were going to do very well, but we didn't know how well they were going to do. But they did extremely well. They basically pretty much did the mission for us in the end. I've got an E2 Sentry here on 251. We've got our usual 4 or 5 tankers here. We just put more in than we need just in case, because we're fed up of running out of tankers and running them clean during the missions. That's it really. Let's go forward. For hostiles, we've got roaming Tu-22s here just to confuse the AO, confuse the data link. And we'll also have roaming Russian strike planes as well just to confuse the data link, to add confusion. Hostiles must have spawned. Oh, well, yeah. Semester 27. No, maybe not. Oh, yeah. Semester 27s are spawned in Russia. AirTac assemble. You can see they've split now into a battle formation. The rest of us, all strike planes and escort, are going to carry on as we are. Our task is to get to the tankers, refuel, and then start our strike mission. Carry on. AirTac do this lovely big formation turn. Looks batshit crazy. Woo! In they go. Tiger. We invited the 104th, but I did it so late that only one guy managed to get in. It's my fault. So Tiger managed to come along. He got in late, but he did catch us up and was a valuable part of the team in the end. I really like having the 104th in there. They seem to like us, and we really get on with them as well, which is really good. So we get all of us refuel. It's very rare that we see all of GR managing to refuel, but everyone did, so that's great that we can do that now. Now, here's when you know experience. These guys here, I was worried that the first thing they would do was, like 99% of DCS players, they would just charge in and attack the Sukhois. Now that would have been tactically terrible because they would be fighting in red territory under this SA-10. That SA-10 umbrella shows it very small. It's not. It actually comes all the way out here. If you're at high altitude, that will shoot at you all the way to past Sukhumi. So all of this area is under Russian SAM site. And look how tactical these guys are doing. They're just spinning around in circles, luring these SU-27s out, and that's not that easy. There's no data link in these aircraft. They have no idea where these guys are. They don't even know where they are. Remember, they've got no map. They've got no kneeboard to see where they are. They've got literally nothing. They're just having to do this purely by experience. They've got literally on the HUD they can see one marker pointing to a waypoint, but they've really got no way of knowing where they are. So this is all done by experience now, and looking at the terrain and stuff like that, and they can sit here, keep information without, you know, it being difficult, and wait for the bad guys. And this is all part of training for the SATEL competition matches that they do. You can see the training coming out now. It's really good stuff to see, and I didn't have to tell them to do this. They've all done it on their own back. So this is the only way they could have stayed alive. And it's difficult because they've got no real way of knowing how close these guys are. I guess when they're on the hot leg, they can put their radars on and nail these guys and see where they are. But it's a very disconcerting thing to do, just going around in big, slow circles. I've got it on double speed at the moment. And just think at any moment these guys are going to start pummeling missiles at them. So it's a great thing, great flying there. Couldn't ask anything more. They're at the perfect altitude, Angels 30 for BVR. Couldn't ask anything more. Getting their formation sorted now. You can see the difference now between a team and a bunch of individuals. So these AI guys are a bunch of individuals. They don't really communicate with each other, AI. They're just not that advanced. They're very good, or at least they can be very good, much better in humans than some ways, how they fly, because, you know, they're computer guys, they're human. But in terms of tactics, in terms of groups, they'll just file in one by one, which will make it easier probably for the Blues like this, because they get to kind of pick on one by one. I mean, I may be wrong with that, I don't know, but that's the limit of my knowledge at that point. But so we've got long range missiles out by both guys, and we've got a perfect split S by Shadow. They're going to go into a conveyor belt, a chainsaw action here. You're going to have the leading pair and a hot pair. I haven't identified which is which at the moment, but looks like Warren and Shadow are going to be the cold pair, and these two are going to be the hot cover pair. Just trying to find a position where those labels aren't covering everything up. It's a bit annoying, really. This guy's had a long pot. Another missile out. These two are going cold. This guy's going hot. We've got another hot cover guy. Just trying to... More missiles being pummeled in by the bad guys. That's one of them has taken out. We wore him down. And we're at the position where we've got one guy cold, one guy going cold. As soon as that guy goes cold, this guy goes hot. As soon as that guy's gone cold, this guy goes hot. They've got this perfect chainsaw action here. If you haven't seen my video on chainsaws, group chainsaws, 4, 6 or 2-man chainsaws, it's in the educational general section. I suggest you go and check it out. Really good stuff in terms of it's the best thing you can do in terms of high altitude, high energy group tactics. And they're keeping their altitude. Shadow's a bit low there, but still 20,000 feet, so it's still perfectly acceptable. See if we can get that like that. They've got the reds on the ropers at the moment. So we've got cold, just turned hot, hot, about to turn cold, hot aggressing. More AMRAAMs sinking in, good dodge. Another AMRAAM going in. Warren fired his missile. It looks like it's going to crank. Let's just have a little reverse look at that, shall we? Just make sure we're recording, as we are. Good shot. Interesting here. Warren took a shot and then hasn't turned cold. Very unusual to see that in a chainsaw. It's always safest once you shoot a missile to go cold and let this guy then charge in. But they know more than me, and they're probably doing this because they're not getting any... They've suppressed the hostiles so much they're not getting incoming missiles. I presume that's why. So that looks like a modification to the chainsaw. It looks like you have the ability to push the chainsaw forward. As long as the hostiles aren't firing at you, they can keep pushing like this. So that's an advanced feature of doing the chainsaw tactic that I haven't covered so far. Eventually a missile does come out, and Warren will have to go cold, I imagine. Shadow's seen it and gone cold. Doesn't look like Warren's been spiked by it. Looks like Warren's above it. So he's going to shoot down. These guys are clean from spike, so they can aggress. Full domination. Out of interest, they've lost this guy here, and this is a typical thing that you'll see when fighting the AI. You know, he's done a weird AI thing. He's gone down his spirals. There's no reason for it. It's just got confused. AI, you know, it's fallible. It gets confused, and the reason they've lost him is probably because they're used to fighting against human players, and human players don't go down in circles and get their, you know, algorithms confused. So this is one thing I was a little bit worried about, because these guys train against human guys that do human things, do logical human things. They don't do weird things like this. And the AI sometimes does weird things. And bear in mind that an AI is incredibly dangerous once they get close. They're unrealistically dangerous once they get within 10 miles, because they have, you know, they have an all-knowing eye. They know where everything is. Whereas humans obviously don't. Humans have to spot tiny specks out of their eyes with, you know, their old man eyes. So this is the kind of thing I was worried about. So I'm going to see what happens to this guy now. You see, that's the exact example. Look, this guy's busy. His algorithm's got screwed for some reason. He's spinning around in circles, even though he's not being painted or spiked. And then suddenly, off board, just puts a perfect belly shot missile into someone, which, a human just can't do that. He's got this, this dangerous missile coming in now. So you've got to be really careful. Now these guys are up high. It's going to be hard to dodge. There's another guy pressured down. So the chainsaw could easily break apart with this type of action. Luckily, his algorithms got confused again. He's turned away, and this is no longer a guiding missile. So we got a bit lucky there. I've got to hammer him out on I don't know what. I don't actually know what kills this guy here. It's very hard for these guys to actually see this guy down here now. Their radars simply aren't going to be slewed down. Saying that someone's found him. That's actually a very good bit of experience there. We look from a side view here. Now remember, these guys' radar, very, very narrow elevation. They're going to go up in a very thin kind of maximum 10 degrees deviation radar coverage. So to have someone to have the foresight to scan down here and find this guy, who is at funny vectors, it's hard to find, very hard to find on a radar, it's pretty much beaming. It's great to see that they can do that. And this is one weakness I saw in the original Satan match. It's when something goes down low. This is completely understandable why, you've got to proactively, on this F-15, slew this radar, like 40 degrees right down to see this guy. Very difficult to do, sleeving that thing down in the middle of combat. So to see that they've learned to do that now covers that entire danger zone here. So I hope they're watching and noting that they've got that. I call this a ground sweeper. It's not a real name. It's just what I've always called in for our tactics when we do it. I've always said that when we've got to change a group, any kind of group action, there should always be a guy at the back sweeping the ground for flankers and stuff that can just come in underneath. Really dangerous for that to happen. So it looks like they've got that now, which is great news. And now they've seen this guy is dead one way or another. He's going to try and dodge that, and he's running himself into the ground, but he would have been a dead man anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, pretty much perfection there. There's nothing I can say. So it's good to see the boys kind of growing beyond me now. There's nothing else I can add to them. As soon as that happens, then obviously the next triggers a program to start. You've got these Su-20. They are armed, but they're obviously they're not fighter planes. So they're minimal threat. And they're there really to confuse the AO, to confuse the data links. And the data links, you don't know what type of aircraft they are until you're super close, And there's some aircraft you just don't know what type of aircraft they are. And another squadron of 4 Su-27s coming. So these guys have got to get all their crap together now. They've got to get organised, got to get to altitude, got to get in their box, get their scanners on, got to figure out where these guys are. And remember, they've got no way of knowing where these guys are apart from the RWR and finding them on radar. So they've also got to be careful not to get within danger of this SA-10. It's just difficult. They've got no idea where that SA-10 is. They know an azimuth of it as long as it's got its radar on. But otherwise, they've got to keep very clear of it. And they don't have the benefit of data link like we do in our more modern planes. Well, I shouldn't say that really. In our more modernly modelled planes, I guess maybe I should say. Ow, shit, that tea's hot. Right, so great stuff so far. We're just about finishing our refueling now. Takes a few minutes, obviously. And then we're going to go health and do a strike. We're confident that AirTac's now got their shit together. So, oh, that's good. Look at that. A little bit close to the SA-10 for my 40 miles. They're just right on the border of where that thing's going to start firing at the moment in the kind of motion that they're doing. So whether that is by luck or judgment, I don't really know. Maybe it's somewhere in between. I mean, like I said, they don't know where that is, so there's only so much they can plan this. And a pair head in. They've got their altitude. They're going up for Angel Study again. And great organisation again. So what? Again, a noob squadron is just going to go charging. Raw! Charge into these bad guys. They don't want to do that. They want to play it on these guys' term. They want to keep the guys out to sea. They don't want to let them have the mountains. All other tactics they're thinking of. So they say lead pair, pull back. And then these guys are going to be cover. And what they're going to do is create a static chainsaw at that point. And they're going to lure these guys into the grinder. That's what we want to see. These guys come back. These guys cover. And at that point, their engagement area. It would have been even nice to see a bit more discipline and have them lure these guys all the way over the sea. That would have been perfection. But it's all good. For some reason, there's only 3. I get the feeling someone's crashed or lagged out or something. Okay, so let's get it on the go. Talking point. So, when I talk about chainsaws, I usually say that we don't do a cranking maneuver. If you've seen my video on cranking maneuver, it's the most efficient way to kill a bad guy without posing yourself as a threat. It's usually used for one-on-ones. Usually not the kind of thing you do in a group situation like this. I don't really know how to explain why. It's just not compatible with this motion of chainsaw, because it takes you out of plane of motion of the chainsaw. It's all kinds of reasons. It's just not suitable for a chainsaw. But there are positions in a multiplayer, in a multi-group action, when it is suitable. One area is the initial engagement, which is here, and one area is if the chainsaw does break down and you end up on a locational 1v1, so this guy ends up over here because the chainsaw is broken down, which is not very likely to happen with these guys, but possible, and a baddie gets sucked out. That becomes a one-on-one, and they can do chainsaw in then. But as Signori's got here, we can certainly do it at the beginning without upsetting the chainsaw, because essentially what we've got here with this guy ahead is a 1 versus, if we isolate this, we've got a 1 versus group. If you remember in my kill cranking video, I state that the conditions are when this is suitable to do in a one-on-one or a 1 versus group, and we've got 1 versus group here. When the group is within 5 miles, I say. They might be a bit further here. Well, they're 10 miles. But in terms of, I mean, you could consider just this the group threat here. I guess is considering that. But in this case, it is acceptable, I would consider, to see what Signori has done, which is to crank and treat this as one entity. And it's just going to give him the best possible start to the chainsaw. So let's just so we've done a crank. It may not pay off for him. In this case, it may do. So he's going to want to turn in about 13 miles. So he's turning soon at the moment. He just doesn't want to be too aggressive. He doesn't want to upset the chainsaw. So he was going out there to do the crank, and he turned in a little bit early. And that's fine. Still perfectly acceptable. Now he's done a TWS launch, so he's launched 1 missile at each of these guys, which is perfectly good. It's almost like a kind of Tomcat TWS 40-mile launch. It's going to send all these guys cold, send them defensive, so it's a posturing maneuver. He's not aiming to kill any of these guys. He's got the 3 TWSs out, and it's upset all of these guys. Tactical play, so that then the sweepers, these two, can bosh forward, overlap, and these guys will still be getting their energy back at that point, and these guys can go in for a kill shot. So it's a good start move. If not a little missile heavy, because that's 3 missiles out for no kills. But still perfectly good gameplay. I think Allo may have accidentally got 2 out on 1 target there by the looks of things, which would have just been a mistake. Which is very easy to do. So you remember the chainsaw and the split S, they're going to do lose 10,000 feet. So it's 30 down to 20 roughly. And then they're going to get those 10,000 feet back as they go. You can see them heading upwards, that guy upwards, that guy upwards. Here they come, the sweepers. The guys over the top, the overlap. Looks like an AI is dead already. He just got swamped by missiles by the looks of it. No, he just made a mistake. He dodged wrong at the end of the day. Taken out. The only weak point of these guys at the moment is long-range BVR missiles. They do get hit a little bit too easily. They just don't do the right dodging. Look, this guy's going up to dodge. It's stupid. Otherwise, they're strong as steel. Anyway, got the 2 going back. The overlap pair coming in. And we can possibly get some kill shots out at the moment, because these guys are defensive as hell. So that is 14 miles. It's not a kill shot, but it's going to put this guy under a lot of pressure. Warren's just got to be careful about this guy now recovering. Fast as hell. Looks like Warren's targeting this guy on a crank. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. This guy's putting himself in all kinds of hurt. It's down to 300 knots, spinning in circles. There's a dead man. If it wasn't for this guy who's got a really good missile off there. It's another radar guided, so Warren's going to see that. He's going to get a missile off in return. So Warren was keeping great situational awareness here. He was watching, I think, probably both guys. Well, we know he was watching him, and I think he was watching this guy as well. Well, we know he was because he got the missile off, so it's good driving there. Meanwhile, this guy's going to start turning cold, obviously. Shadow's lagging behind. Shadow should really be in phase with Warren at the moment, a bit more, but that's how it goes sometimes. Signore and Allo are already turning in, knowing as soon as this guy, was getting near shooting this guy, was communicating back to the rear pair, and they're coming back in now. You see they're up to their Angels 30, so everything absolute clockwork. Warren's going to lose altitude now, get back. Would usually expect to see Shadow a couple of miles ahead, but in reality, sometimes it just doesn't go like that. That guy's just running himself down to the ground. That missile ran him down to the ground. This missile's probably going to kill this guy. No, it misses. But Shadow's there. I mean, this guy's so defensive now. The chainsaw has worn these guys right down. They've got nothing left, got no energy left, they've got no fight in them. So it's now just a case of picking them off. Easy work. Perfect play again. Again, nothing I can criticise there. This guy's all out of it. Look at him. I don't know what he's trying to do. I think his algorithm's gone weird again. Look, he thinks he's dodging even though he's got nothing to dodge. So I don't think much is going to happen there. Just going to finish him off. Yep. Perfect. It's great having a trained team like this on your side. We don't always get the opportunity of it, having a trained team. Or the 104th, when they come on, they're a trained team. They're hugely effective, almost invulnerable, just like these guys. The only thing that will kill them is running out of fuel or running out of weapons. But you can't always have it. Like I said, these guys have to put... a lot of people are asking at the moment, why don't you train like the 104th? Why don't you train? It takes over your whole lives. These guys have to put everyday training in to do this, just like real pilots. You can't do it, once every Saturday. And like one of our guys said, it's a young single man's game. It's just not for the middle-aged or people with partners and stuff. And that's how it is. So we can't rely on that. What we can rely on is each other's good group tactics still. We can't have that kind of group play, but we can rely on each other's groups to cover each other still. So we're going to go back into the reality here. We're on our strike, so all the time that fighting's been going on, we've left. Great to see tactical situational awareness here. Again, we can't see each other. I mean, it's true to say that we do have our data link, which really helps. It's the first time I've really started using my data link now. I know it's been out for a while, but I haven't been flying Hornet for a couple of months, and we're actually starting to use it, see the uses of it now. But even with our data link, you still don't know really which groups are where. Like I said, there's no F10, there's no way of really knowing where everyone is. What we'd like to do is ranging to target, ranging to a waypoint or ranging to target, and that's how we determine where the other groups are in relation to us. And that's how we've managed to get all these guys from these tankers, not being able to see each other, to the target at exactly the same time. Really good stuff to see. Situational awareness from the Harriers. You've got Shifty, Gumbo, Auntie's got left behind. I think she had some problems refueling somewhere, still about. And these guys realise, right, we're out too far. These guys don't have the data link, so they don't know where they are in relation to us visually, but they listen to us talking, and these guys are saying, okay, we're this far out from the SA-10, I think I put a waypoint out here somewhere. And these guys say, situational awareness, okay, we need to pull back now to get in line with these guys. They can't see us, they've got no real way to know where we are. And you can see the phase slightly out with us, but, pretty much fine. So that's great situational awareness to see. These are the things that keep our group alive now. And the skills that we didn't used to have. By taking away our map, by taking away some of our weapons, what we've done is given these guys a greater sense of responsibility and situational awareness. They know they have to do these things now, otherwise they'll die. They can't just charge in anymore. And people are fed up of just taking off and dying and then having to wait 3 hours for the debrief. So people are starting to do it properly. And it pays off. So it's great. Right, we get within 34 miles, and they're getting pumped by these S300. So these guys go cold. All perfectly acceptable play. What I would say is, slight criticisms here. They do get all their missiles off in the end, and that's fine. But what I usually say is, for iron hand technique, which is what we're doing now, or the Grim Reaper's interpretation of Iron Hand, is that if you see the missiles fire like that, then you can be pretty damn sure that your harms are in range. So if you see the missiles fire, then release all your magnums, then turn cold, then just go away. What you don't want to be doing is see the missiles, turn away, then have to dance with those missiles so that you can turn back in to fire. So what's the difference here and how much less danger we're putting? So these guys get fired on. It might as well be these guys that are getting fired on. We're probably getting fired on as well. But we see those missiles, and then I call Magnum, or lead calls Magnum, and we get all our Magnums out, which is what these guys should have done. So let's watch these Magnums come out. There we go, got 12 Magnums on the way now. Then we go cold, and then we've done our job at that point. We can turn home. Where these guys, they've got to dance with S-300s, which is a very dangerous thing to do. S-300s, they are very dangerous missiles, especially when there's lots of them. You never really know what's after who, and when you're close together. So, 12 Magnums out, turn around, go home. No stress for us. We're not putting any of our airframes at risk here. And if there were fighters in the AO, which they're not, thankfully, then we wouldn't be at risk at all. Whereas these guys have got to now F around dancing with these suckers. Look at that. Who wants to play with that? And turn around and put their Magnums in. So that's just something to learn there. Shifty and Gumbo coming back in. I think they've put themselves behind the Hornets on purpose. And that's a perfectly valid thing to do. They're simply not as armed well as the Hornets. Got to get much closer. I criticised these Harriers coming in earlier because they're just weaker than the Hornets in just about every way, but it turns out that having variety was good. It was good to have them to be able to loiter over these SA6s and do their damage. See that these guys are turned warm again to put their Magnums in, but still too dangerous. Look at that lot. Far too dangerous. Okay, they finally think they've beaten the SAMs, or some of them do, and all the stress they have to go through and the danger they're putting their airframes in. Finally got some Magnums coming out, but they're a little bit disorganised by this point. I think that might be going for the SA6. So we've got our Magnums going out, and thump. That is the Big Bird done. And the annoying thing is, for us, is that the clamshell, these in terms of Iron Hand, these can be a bitch to fight, because once our Magnums were fired out, half were for clamshell, half were for Big Bird. Clamshell turned itself off. Very frustrating. So the missiles that were going, the AGMs that were going for the clamshell, all went for the Big Bird in the end. So we only managed to kill the Big Bird. Now the problem with that is this can operate perfectly well. I think minimum ranges that you see here without Big Bird. So it's still a perfectly operational SA-10. That's very frustrating. There's not really much we can do about that. If the clamshell is going to turn itself off as a reaction, then, has every right to do that. We've just got a massive AO of AGMs going in now. We've got the Gumbo and Shifty are putting sidearms in. Be a little bit careful because they do have some reactionary S-300s coming in here. I don't know if they're shooting the missiles down. Yeah, they're shooting the missiles down at this point. But what we've done is with Iron Hand was just overwhelmed them. Gumbo sidearm out. So they're going to take the SA-6 down. Not sure why the SA-6 isn't firing. It's well within range. Maybe it was firing early on and I just didn't see. Maybe it's just slightly out of parameters. Any of those things it could be. More S-300s going out. The S-300 is clever. It will happily protect other SAM sites as well as itself. Very good units. The sidearms have made it in, the AGMs, and that is SA-6 taken out. Well done, boys. Harriers are doing perfectly. You see, they're not going in like they used to. 5, 3, 2 miles. You used to see them running right into SAM sites. They're staying outside of 10 miles now. Perfect play. Well done. Tiger, our 104th wildcards coming in now to finish this lot off. This lot coming in for the clamshell. Looks like SA-10 is probably out of ammo at this point. It's just fired so much. The rest of us are all RTB. Done our job. Well, when I say RTB tankers waiting for next tasking. These confusionary guys are coming in now. We can see them on our date links, but we think they're fighters. We're not sure. No real way of knowing. The only person that knew was me. Another sidearm going in to finish that lot off. AGMs, I think this takes the clamshell out at this point, so that is the end of that. Right, no, the miss, look. Again, the clamshell turned itself off, look. Cheeky bugger. So that's a problem with this SA-10. We don't know how to get round. How do you stop that thing turning itself off and the missiles all missing? I don't have a solution. These guys here are dodging this SA-10, a secondary SA-10. Doing a good job. They're staying out of range. They're staying conservative. We finally got the clamshell. Knocked him out, look. So that was Tiger. It just didn't see that or didn't turn itself off in time. It was busy tracking something. So great work there. That's it. AGM's going in for this SA6 now. Shifty's in for the kill on the second SA6. So he's got the benefit of terrain now. He can hide by terrain. Perfect AGM going out there. Good 10 miles away, so he can get away from this guy pretty easily. Tiger's going to go up. Tiger sees these guys, goes up, guns them, kills them. Shifty's missing little spoons for some reason. This guy may have turned his radar off, I don't know. Gumbo's in. Good shot. A little bit high for my liking. If that guy had shot a Gumbo, it would have been difficult to get down, but it's still a good 10 miles. I think he would have been okay. And that's a kill. Beautiful work, boys. Beautiful work. Okay. That's it. I call RTB for 104th. He's coming back. Warren comes. Oh, God, a whole nother fight. It's a boss fight. These boss fights are massive. Right, so all of that's happening. And then another attack. 4 elite SU-33s come in. These guys are actually organised as well by the looks of it. Right, so poor Whistler. So Whistler's learnt his lesson. I like Whistler. Just kind of sits quietly and does his job. All this is happening. AirTac are tied up here. Remember, they know these guys are here, but they're struggling to find them. They're a little bit out of situational awareness at this point. It would have been nice to see them realise at this point that our only threat left was these guys and put themselves between us and them. However, they didn't know they didn't make the mission. They didn't know there wouldn't be more SU-27. So I guess what they're doing is perfectly good. These guys launch, and we're not falling for what we did last time where we got caught with the pants down and the Tomcats left it too late. Remember what I say about the Tomcats. Brilliant weapon for long range. The best thing ever invented. Assuming it's better than the Big 25, I don't know. We'll probably never find out. But, long range is beautiful. Close range, not so good. But, so we've detached the Tomcats early to catch these guys. So Whistler's done a perfect job here. Now, unfortunately, very sadly, his partner has just forgotten about him. And so this is probably the only real error of the match, is that Ral has just given up on him. Look, it's just sitting, flying around in formation. So that's very bad to see. Ral should obviously be bolted to this guy's side. Like I say, you never leave your lead side. You never do it. Like everyone's done here, they've stayed in their groups. Not easy to do, but you just do it. That's your job. That's what you have to do if you want to win. And he's, whatever reason, I'm not going to speculate, but he's just not followed Whistler, and it's quite going to cost Whistler his life, as it would. Obviously, you've got 4 elite Su-33s against 1 Tomcat. Whistler will be very lucky to get 1 kill and not get killed himself, and as we see, that's pretty much impossible. So in he goes. So that's Whistler's job now, to go and discipline his man, whoever his man is. Ral, arsing about in here for some reason. There, Ral. So he doesn't do it again. Because look at that. What is that range? I don't know. 70 miles from his wingman. Completely unexcusable. And this is what I say. If you notice in the briefing, why I stipulate and drum it into, you've got to keep your wingmen in tally in all time. If you lose them, you'll never get them back. You'll never be able to find them again. Ral's lost him. Took his eye off him just for a minute to do his own thing, refueled or whatever, and that's him lost. And that's the war lost. That's the group lost at that point, just because you didn't keep tally on the wingman. You've got to do it at all times. It's part of your responsibility as a wingman. Okay, it's not Whistler's responsibility. All of the rest of us managed it. Even these guys, in incredibly difficult circumstances. And these guys have got no data link. They don't know where each other are. They have to do it by experience and watching each other all the time. So that's a big lesson for Ral there. That's his bollocking for the day. So poor Whistler's on his own. Big respect for him to going out and trying to save us. Got nothing against Whistler here. Good shots, 30 miles, perfectly acceptable. Exactly what you should be firing, kind of 30 to 40 miles, I think, from a Tomcat. It's got 2 missiles out. Turns away, runs home. Perfectly good. He's running home for cover. Just bad luck. This guy slipped by. There's nothing Whistler did wrong there. It's just bad luck. Well, he was never going to survive that anyway, was he? So, and he does end up getting shot down, and yeah, so be it. And only then could we respond. At that point, we respond. I order Atomic in because I had a sense that Whistler was going out on his own and he was going to get overwhelmed. So that's why I put us in, even though we're not strike. We've only got 2 missiles each. I just had a feeling it was starting to break down at this point. So we go in and we're going to go and take the job. Whistler did get 1 guy. That was nice. Here's where it starts getting scrappy. At this point, as you can imagine, everything's, you know, look at that. Look at the breakdown at this point, which is completely natural at this point. You know, we've killed 8 Sukhois and lots of bases. Things are starting to break down. Saying that, we've still got 2 guys in the fight. We've still got 2 air attack in the fight. The other 2 are RTB, I think. They're just out of fuel or guns or whatever. Got 1 4th. He's a bit of a solo guy. Obviously, he's not a full-time GR guy, so he's a bit out on his own. But he's obviously a top fighter. Me and Atomic, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm in the Hornet. It's probably my Achilles heel. I really struggle in the Hornet, as you've probably seen in the video. Atomic's a bit better. So I really don't have much situational awareness of what's going on at this point, but I just know I need to go out and help because I know there's going to be a struggle here. And it just so happens the Lord has put us in a great position. I had no idea of this situational awareness at all. And these guys fought this guy, sent him cold into us, which is just couldn't have worked out better. I think I'll actually go in and get a kill even, maybe. Look at that. Yeah. Free kill for us there, basically. If we knew what we were doing, that would have looked professional, but we didn't. Raoul finally gets his act together. Missiles out. Good, whatever that was. Good range. 40 miles, perfect. Send these guys cold. Allows Shadow to go in and kill them. Shame he wasn't with Whistler, but so be it. Missiles out. Shadow goes cold with Allomancy. So these guys, Aircheck are only a pair now. It seems the other guys have run out of gas. Very difficult them at this point. They've got very little gas on them. Very little weapons. Very hard for them to fight brand new flankers at this point. Luckily they have Raoul to punish these guys with big Fox 3s. They're going to do the joblet. These guys are chainsawing perfectly. You won't see that from us because we're just not that good. It's as simple as that. Okay. This guy's got himself in a weird... He's upset him. Oh no, these guys are pummeling AMRAMs at him. It's fine. This guy's heading off. He's just died. I think the AI aren't quite tuned for the AIM-54s at the moment. I think that's what it is. They just don't quite get the AIM-54s at the moment. They're programmed, I guess, to fight against the missiles that have been in here. And now the AIM-54s are out. You just see them running into the water. Well, I'm sure they'll get fixed at some point. There'll be enough complaints. They'll get fixed. That's it. We're all just chasing this last guy. I don't know we're chasing this last guy. I'm a retard, as you know, so I'm just looking for anything, trying to work out how my IFF works. I can't remember how it works in this plane. Got him on the run. He turns in. I'm very lucky not to get shot there. That guy would normally have pasted my face by that point, and I probably wouldn't have seen the miss and I would have died, but just got luck on our side. I've got an AMRAM out on him. And because I can't remember how the IFF works in the Hornet, because I'm an idiot, I have to go in for VID at this point. I had to go in for VID. That's why I got so close with that firing. You remember we had a big chat about friendly fire. Big chat. Big group upset about it. And it happens every few months. We have a big group upset with friendly fire. And it instills on me and everyone to be extremely sure what you're firing. When you don't know your weapon, like me, then you go in for VID, which I had to do here. Atomic finally shoots him down, I think. Pew pew lasers. Beautiful. And that's it. We all RTB. Everyone lands apart from Atomic, who's... I'm not allowed to call people retards anymore, apparently. I'm not politically correct. But he crashed into the thing. Everyone else got down fine. The remaining Hornets, all the F-15s got down fine. Everyone. Static got back. She was late to the fight, but that's fine. She made it. And that's it. So, small error, a little error by Raoul there. Tiny error by the second F-18 team. Otherwise... getting on for perfection, really. Can't ask any more of the guys. I'm chuffed with that. And it's really hard. These big missions, they really are difficult. Keep stressing that, but go and try it on a public server. See how hard it really is with all the options turned up. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that re-enlightened you into GR and that we can do things. Stuff goes wrong sometimes and it sucks and we all shout at each other and hate each other, but then... sometimes it just goes right. I guess it's like real life, I've heard plenty of stories of Desert Storm when missions went bad and everything went wrong, and missions when everything went right. And that's one of these. Great way to end the campaign. Best campaign so far. Not as dynamic as the coffee campaign, but overall, for everyone's skill level and everything, best campaign we've done. So I'd like to see some more like this. Maybe with some extra flair added in, but just had everything, didn't it? Plenty of air-to-air refueling, plenty of long ferries, plenty of bombing, plenty of air-to-air fighting, plenty of skill needed, plenty of navigation needed, weather, winds, had just about everything. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the campaign. We've got plenty organised for the summer. It's going to keep you very, very, very busy, so please watch that. And we'll see you later.